Yeah, I think there really is a choice there. Sometimes I go through periods where I'm like, I mean, the world is always like horrifying and scary and funny and beautiful. It's like all the things all at once, all the
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And, when you're seeing some of the scarier parts of the world, it can feel sort of bleak and dark. But like Mr. Rogers said, right? You have to look for the helpers. You have to look for the humor. Stephanie, what do you find funny about being a parent?
I am loving this 3-year-old age.
I think you're
I've
one of the few people to say that about the 3-year-old age.
Wow. I don't know. I'm loving it. I wasn't crazy about 0 to 3, but I'm loving his personality. I mean, I find everything he does pretty funny. I mean, except when he hits me, or that's another conversation. Yeah, I mean, it has its struggles, of course. I mean, but even though it's like tough when he is saying no and has so many opinions and tells me to stop doing something, I find it funny. I think it's such a beautiful time in his life that he's finding his voice. And I mean, his dance moves are killer, and his
Oh my
little
God.
voice. Yeah, I mean, I
Kid
just
dancing is the funniest thing.
It's the best.
Yeah.
yeah. And since we know that he's a funny kid, so I thrive off of that as well. And it's it's hard though when he's not in a good mood or not feeling good to try and snap him out of that, because you can't. I mean, he's allowed to not feel good. He's allowed to be in a bad mood. But I, as an adult, feel like I'm never allowed to be in a bad mood. So I have to remind myself that, like, it's okay. It's okay that he's cranky. Stop trying to make him feel something that he's just not going to feel right now. Um, I don't know how I got on that, but
But
I find
and,
so much of what he does funny.
and maybe, reminding yourself that you are also allowed to be cranky and in a bad mood.
Yeah.
That you are. You don't have to be in a good mood all the time. But as you were speaking, Stephanie, like what I was realizing is that like sometimes for a lot of parents, like when we're in a 3-year-old situation, 3-year-olds are so like, it's like 3 and 13 are the big ages of separation. 3 is this big, like, I do it myself kind of stage, which can be great and can be incredibly frustrating, and the tantrums can be incredibly hard. But I guess what I'm hearing is like that instead of what a lot of people do, which is like future pace. Oh, my kid is like this now. They're going to be like, if they're like this now, what are they going to be like in 10 years? What is it going to be like in this year? I better like, that's where I think a lot of parents' fear and stress comes from. And what I'm hearing from you, what you're describing about finding the humor in like a 3-year-old and then finding his voice and all the saying no and things like that is that you're very much in the present moment. You're seeing it for what it is right now, not with a lens of like curiosity, right? And this is also one of the attitudes of mindfulness is non-judgment or curiosity and focusing on the present moment. So this you're seeing this with curiosity, with open-mindedness, with this lens of like, this is crazy and amazing, right? And so it's interesting
Yeah.
because what you're describing is kind of a shift in lens and a shift of, maybe for those of you, if you're a listener, you say, oh yeah, like I'm someone who future paces and that makes me sort of stressed and worried. Interrupting that and kind of getting your, saying, okay, I was future pacing. Let me just focus on here now and see what is here. Is there humor here that I can notice and pick up on and highlight for
Yeah.
myself?